Welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz. It's Memorial Day weekend here on SportsGrid. What a great weekend it is with NBA and NHL and, of course, us talking some fantasy baseball and also some betting as well. So we thought we would get into it here and take a look at the American and National League MVP odds. And if you believe FanDuel's odds, then you believe that this race is over. George, Aaron Judge is the MVP. What's the point? Why should we even watch the rest of the baseball season? Look at these numbers. I mean, has there ever been an MVP in May or the end of May that's been this big a favorite? Like, I feel like just going on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and I can't do it, of course, because of my new role in baseball here, but I feel like going there and just like taking Bobby Witt just to spite the odds here. Like, I mean, George, I don't want to throw anything into the ether about injuries or anything else, but I'm just saying, man, we haven't even hit June yet.
Hey, now Craig can't do it because he works for the Marlins, and I can't do it because I live in New York. All right, we can't vote on awards like this. So it's so. What do they think? I'm gonna whatever. It just annoys that I can't bet on this. Anyway, you already said it. The only way Judge doesn't win this is if he gets hurt. Yeah, and hey, he has gotten hurt before. It's happened. I wouldn't call him injury prone. At one time, he did look like injury prone. The last injury he had was when he ran into the wall at Dodger Stadium here, and the Yankees do play at Dodger Stadium next week or later this week, depending on how you look at it. So that's the only way he's not going to win this, and he's not even hitting well right now. You watch the Yankees; he's not connecting with the ball. So I think he's in a little bit of a slump here, and yet he's still batting 400, 17 home runs, or whatever it is, and a million RBIs. I said the only way he doesn't win this is if he gets hurt here. That being said, I don't mind where you're going here, but I don't think I'd go for Witt. I think I might give Bregman a shot. Boston all season long. Maybe against that kind of player. It won't be Gunnar. And Jose Ramirez, as great as he is, probably a Hall of Famer, he gets no love. All right, it's Cleveland. All right, he's not going to get that here. Judge is going to win it, but I kind of like where you're going with that, though. Put a couple of bucks on Bregman.
Anyone?
You got nothing to lose.
Anyone? Really, it just seems ridiculous to make anybody that big of a favorite, but you combine Judge with being a Yankee and everything else. Okay, so a more reasonable take would be the National League, where Shohei Ohtani is the favorite, and still at this point of the season, a very heavy favorite, all things considered, at minus 110. But there are some other players, I think, that are in the mix. Tatis has had a great year, plus 450. Corbin Carroll, who had a horrible first half last year, also back in the mix. Kyle Tucker at 12-1. Pete Alonso 16-1. And if you dive down that board a little bit, George, Pete Crow Armstrong at 25-1. I mean, yeah, Kyle Tucker, I guess he'd have to battle it out with his own teammate. Those look like the best odds to me of anybody there.
Do you believe, go back to Tucker and PCA here, that because they're on the same team, that they'll take away votes from each other, right? We always hear that they'll take away votes from each other here. Because I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure because in the NL they said that with Betts and Freeman and Soto, it just never turned out to be the case. So I don't know, but I'm here to tell you that Pete Crow Armstrong's numbers are better than every single name on that list. So Howie is 25-1.
I'm with you. Yeah. I would go with PCA here. I kind of agree. It's the Cubbies. All right, we think they're going to win the division. They should be the news all season long. I do wonder this though: if his numbers and Tucker's are the same, can he beat Tucker? Because Tucker's also going to be in the news because he's going to get a $600 billion contract. All right, so I kind of wonder that as well here. So I can see myself voting for Tucker as well, but I would take one of the Cubs.
I think it's fair. All right. Cy Young Award in the American League. Let's start off there, where Tariq Skubal is the favorite. He's had a great year. He's 2-1. Fried is 5-1. Hunter Brown. Look, I mean, Jacob deGrom, George and I look like we could. I mean, look, it's still early. We could be both wrong on him. I mean, we were like crapping all over him in the early part of the season. He's been really good. Eovaldi's numbers are probably better than everybody outside of Skubal. It's just no fun to take a Cy Young in May at 2-1. So who else you got?
Yeah, I already said earlier on the show, I don't think Fried will make 32 starts, so I can knock him out here. DeGrom and Eovaldi, same problem. And the Rangers aren't scoring runs for these guys. They're losing wins. I know they don't look at wins as much anymore, but I think once again that could hurt. It won't be Bubik. It won't be Rodon. Probably not Lopez either. Are they going to give it to School back-to-back years? I mean, even Hunter Brown at 6-1, I'm kind of interested in. DeGrom, if he could make 27, 26 starts, I think he would get a lot of love for the storyline of being the Cy Young again. I don't think he would here. I would probably look at Hunter Brown at 6-1, but in the end, I do expect it to be Schoolville again.
National League Cy Young Award odds. We have Paul Skeens as the favorite at plus 240. Yamamoto is now taking a hit with the injury. Zach Wheeler always lurking for a Cy Young. Probably my guess is that it's between health for Skeens and Wheeler, but I also don't want to sleep on Jesus Luzardo, George, because he's 16-1 because he's never been able. Actually, there was one season where he finished the whole season healthy. But George, if Jesus Luzardo pitches like this the entire season, he is going to be the NL Cy Young. But I guess they're just baking in the idea that if you look at Luzardo's 6-7 year career, he's only had one season where he's made 30 starts, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time saying it's going to be Luzardo over Wheeler just for his own team. And Wheeler's having a great season as well. Wheeler never gets the love, by the way. I can't believe this guy hasn't won a Cy Young yet. 2.42 ERA, 0.88 WHIP for Wheeler's just fantastic. So I'm going to be a very hard time for me to say he's going to get Luzardo's going to get it over Wheeler here. And by the way, Wheeler's throwing 19.2 scoreless innings right now. All right, so he's just fantastic here. Skeens gets all the pub, but once again, the wins could be an issue. Could this be Yamamoto, who's also the only guy who's healthy for the Dodgers? I'd like to say Wheeler, but he just never seems to get it. I think it could be Yamamoto this year. The Dodgers keep having all these injuries to their pitchers, and he can stay healthy here. But I also wonder about him. Can he make 32 starts? And I also wonder this for the Dodgers, Craig. Could they play the game? But even if he is healthy, could they play the game late July, August? No, your shoulder's bothering you. Go take 3 weeks off. Get ready for October. So I think they might do that as well.
Now, the American League Rookie of the Year is a minus, so I'm going to go against my own theory here. And I would say don't ever take something like this because there's a long way to go. But I don't know. I think George illustrated it earlier. I think Jacob Wilson's got a great shot to win Rookie of the Year. If Dominguez was, didn't have pinstripes and was wearing a Royals jersey, he'd be like 20-1. So I think Wilson may be the Rookie of the Year, George. I don't think that I would bet anybody else here.
I don't think it's all that close right now. I think it's Wilson pretty easy. You're probably going to need an injury or a performance to really just fall off the table here. My namesake, Nick Kurtz, he's starting to hit home runs now. If he's getting more and more comfortable in a Major League Baseball player, and he could end up hitting 25 by season. Listen, I'm just saying, throwing stuff out there. He can hit 25 by season with a good average here. Maybe he can make enough inroads because he had more pub coming in, right? Top prospect than Wilson. So if Wilson can come down and Nick can really go up here, maybe, but I'm not so sure I see that either. I think right now it's a runaway for Wilson.
I wonder if he's a Weird Al Yankovic fan.
Have to find out.
National League Rookie of the Year. We got a minute. National League Rookie of the Year. Agustin Ramirez is my pick at 5-1. I'm biased heavily. Look out for the name beyond him. Circle it. Logan Henderson, no pitcher that's been a rookie's been better than him over the last 2 weeks. This is wide open, George. But Baldwin still split time at catcher. I'm going to take Agustin Ramirez.
I don't think it'll be Ramirez. That would be a shock. I agree with what you said about Baldwin playing with Murphy. Logan Henderson is a guy. I wanted to get him in fantasy leagues, and I couldn't get him. I'm going to go with Smith Schroyer. If he can keep it up playing for the Braves, they'll be better now that Acuna's back here. I'll get him some wins there, but this is wide open.
Kind of like all the options there. All right, we'll be back with more fantasy sports today. Happy Memorial Day. Buy or sell, Devers will be traded this season. Let's also not forget that there's $300 million on the table due to Devers, which eliminates him from, what would you say, like 17 teams?
Oh, I would think more than 17, maybe 27. That's a joke. But how many teams could afford him? All right, 5, 6. How many teams needed a third baseman who can't play third base? You know, how many people want to deal with his attitude? He hasn't come off looking good in any of this. Whether you believe he should have anyway, he doesn't look good at this. Will he be traded? No, he won't be traded. The salary alone makes it highly unlikely. He's a great hitter. All right, no doubt he can hit. But other than that, there's too many between the money and the attitude and no really position for him here. He's not getting dealt anytime soon.
Buy or sell, if the season ended today, Hunter Brown would win the American League Cy Young Award.
Hunter Brown has been fantastic. All right, the guy that Craig's teasing, by the way, is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers here, who's certainly right up there with them. Max Fried for the Yankees has had a fantastic season. They finally lost a start where he pitched in against Seattle the other day. They'd won every start. He's been fantastic. The season ended today. Would Hunter Brown win the American Cy Young Award? I certainly couldn't argue it if he did. That being said, he's going up against Skubal, who won it last year, going up against Fried of the Yankees. My guess is he wouldn't, that he'll need a year. You understand what I'm saying? He needs a year before he can get that kind of recognition if he's tied with somebody. If he's clearly ahead, then I think he would win here. But as of right now, would he win it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would be probably Max Fried.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to jump into the markets in the American League, National League from a betting perspective, but we've been at this for an hour and 15 minutes. So I got to ask you, George, it's Memorial Day weekend here, which signifies, of course, a lot in the country. For baseball, it signifies the time where we sort of figure out where our teams are, where major league teams are. But on Monday, it's also the time we figure out what we're going to cook up, if so. Are you a big barbecue Memorial Day individual?
I'm pretty much a big barbecue any day person. Right? I don't need Memorial Day to barbecue. It's right out there, maybe 20 feet away. So, yes, I'll be barbecuing. We got some steaks and burgers there. I think the Yankees are on the West Coast. They have a late game. I think it's a 9:30 game. So probably not barbecuing while the game's on. But, yeah, I do like a barbecue here. And, by the way, Craig, I don't live in beautiful the Miami area here. It's only going to be about 60, 65 degrees on Monday here. Not far from the greatest day to barbecue. But yes, I'm that idiot, by the way, who barbecue in the winter. I just bring the barbecue a little closer to the door so I don't have to hang out there. But I love a good barbecue.
Yeah, I was leaning over. Sorry, guys. 86 degrees right now in South Florida.
It's 54 here.
Is it really? How is it still that cold in the Northeast?
It's been a miserable, miserable week here. All right. I think it is going to get better. But we're not really getting really warm. If you're a Yankee or a Met fan or a backer, you're not really getting warm weather here throughout the end of May here. Maybe in June we'll finally get the warmer weather where the ball flies out a little easier. But that warmer weather has not hit yet.
Yeah, when it does, who is going to – I really is going to take off when the weather gets warmer, George?
It better be Soto.
Perdomo.
Good for him.
Inside joke. Remember, he was messing up Perdomo? All right, whatever. Inside joke. You had to watch the first hour of the show. Nobody got it. Okay, fine. I failed. First, all right. I mean, they're not all gems, Sam. They can't be all gems.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a mish. American League odds here. Yeah, to win the division. I love the Orioles at 1,000,000-1. No, I'm just kidding. Yankees minus 550. Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays, Orioles. So the Yankees probably going to win the division. Red Sox hanging around here a little bit. If I had to throw an absolute dart at second, it may be Tampa Bay. George and I differed on Toronto going into the season. I don't think either of us really know who's going to be right on that one yet. Not just yet, but it just seems like I hate to say it. It seems like the Yankees are just much better than all these other teams.
I think they're better. I don't know if I'd say much better. The Yankees are far from a great team. They're an injury away from it. Well, I say if Fried gets hurt, they're screwed. All right, Judge gets hurt, it's all over but the crying here. So they're an injury away here, but they will make additions at some point. I mean, right now, they don't have a third baseman. Think about it. The Yankees don't have a third baseman, yet they still have a 5-game lead over the Jays and the Red Sox here. Red Sox have had injury problems of their own here, not to mention the Devers, issues here. I think the Yankees will win here, but I don't think they're a moral lock. I don't. I think this is not the Yankees teams of the past yet. The entire American League's really a little watered down here. I might take a shot. I already have a ticket on the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, by the way. I always have a ticket on the Blue Jays, and I'm always wrong. But I wouldn't mind taking a shot at them once again going in. I guess I would go with the Jays, better number.
American League Central seems like it could have a minimum of 2 teams, maybe 3 making the postseason. It's pretty bunched up here. Detroit, as of now, the best team. It's funny, when George and I were doing the show 2 weeks ago, we wrote off the Twins. Now they've stormed back right into the picture at 6-1. Cleveland 9.5-1. KC's fallen back a little 10-1, but they'll jump back into the mix here. This is going right down to the end, I think, George, for a wild card spot. I definitely think one team is going to make it, at least from this division.
I agree. I thought the entire American League is watered down. All right, there are no great teams here. It's it's hard to like anybody here. I think Detroit will win the division, so I do like the minus 330. Love their pitching staff, and they're hitting. As we went over earlier in the show, they're hitting better than we actually thought. We knew the pitching staff would be pretty good here. We didn't see guys like Baez, Green. I'm a Green backer here. Torkelson finding it. Gleyber Torres looks very good in the Detroit uniform here. Minnesota's still winning despite the injuries here. Correa did come back on Friday. Buxton not quite yet here to that collision here. I would probably go with Minnesota. I do like their starting pitching staff.
The American League West, to me, is still wide open. I was talking about this on my other show earlier this week. I don't know why Seattle's minus 105 here. Didn't we learn our lesson the last couple of years on the Mariners, where they sort of fell apart at the end of the year? So it's Seattle, Houston, Texas, and the A's have really scuffled here. But I don't have any interest in taking the Angels here, George. I do have to acknowledge they're playing their best baseball in years right now, literally years, with Taylor Ward and Logan O'Hoppe. I don't think they can pitch very much, but it's sort of stunning to me to see the Angels play this well. Even with Ohtani, remember, they were losing 90 games? They've been as hot as they've been since I can remember.
No argument. I agree. All right, they're playing a very good ball here. If they had another pitcher, it might be somewhat interesting. The Seattle Mariners are also my kryptonite, just like the Blue Jays. All right, I love this pitching staff. Even they're banged up. All right, Kirby finally came back. Gilbert should be soon. Bryce Miller started throwing. Brian Wu, he looks really good too. And they're hitting a little bit better than we thought. If they could add another bat here, I'm going to love this team. All right, I just kind of feel like this could be their year where they come out of the American League because there is no strong team. All right, there is no. Houston's not. They're not. All right, they might lose Blanco.
No,
all right, he's going for test here. Texas, no, they can't hit. I think this could be the year for Seattle.
Yeah, it's hard to buy in just based on what I've seen the last few years. Here are the odds to win the pennant in the American League, and I took Detroit at the beginning, so I'm not going to back off that. You kind of like Seattle a little bit? Sounds like it, right?
At 6-1. I just think because the American League is not what it used to be. There's no great team here. I like Detroit as well with that pitching staff. As you can see, I like pitching staffs in a 5 or 7 game series. But Seattle, J-Rod, Aronzarino's pitching a little, hitting a little better. Raleigh, I'm kind of on board with Seattle, but I'm the first person to tell you, Craig, I'm on board with Seattle at every point, at every time of this year, at every time of the year in May. I like Seattle.
We got to take a quick time out here on Fantasy Sports Today. Hopefully your Memorial Day weekend is going well. We'll continue more fantasy baseball discussion and take a look at the odds in the National League. We return next on Fantasy Sports Today. Buy or sell, Devers will be traded this season. Let's also not forget that there's $300 million on the table due to Devers, which eliminates him from, what would you say, like 17 teams?
Oh, I would think more than 17, maybe 27. That's a joke, but how many teams could afford him? All right, 5, 6. How many teams needed a third baseman who can't play third base? You know, how many people want to deal with his attitude? He hasn't come off looking good in any of this. Whether you believe he should have anyway, he doesn't look good at this. Will he be traded? No, he won't be traded. The salary alone makes it highly unlikely. He's a great hitter. No doubt he can hit. But other than that, there's too many between the money and the attitude and no really position for him here. He's not getting dealt anytime soon.
Buy or sell, if the season ended today, Hunter Brown would win the American League Cy Young Award.
Hunter Brown has been fantastic. All right, the guy that Craig's teasing, by the way, is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers here, who's certainly right up there with them. Max Fried for the Yankees has had a fantastic season. They finally lost a start where he pitched in against Seattle the other day. They'd won every start. He's been fantastic. The season ended today with Hunter Brown win the American Cy Young Award. I certainly couldn't argue it if he did. That being said, he's going up against Skubal, who won it last year, going up against Fried of the Yankees. My guess is that he'll need a year. You understand what I'm saying? He needs a year before he can get that kind of recognition if he's tied with somebody. If he's clearly ahead, then I think he would win here. But as of right now, would he win it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would be probably Max Fried.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's dive into the odds to win the National League East. And the odds, by the way, have shifted over the past week because of the surge of the Phillies and the Mets falling back ever so slightly. So Philadelphia is currently the favorite, followed by New York at plus 160. The Braves have Ronald Acuna Jr. back, Strider too. So, let's not sleep on them. Washington is playing better, but I don't think we expect them to win the division. And we know the kind of season the Marlins are going through right now. So hopefully for them, next year is a little bit better than this year. So, George, we went into the season guaranteeing 3 teams, I think, for the playoffs. In the East, I know the Braves fans are still upset. It's like they feel like the offense should be better, but getting Acuna back, I think, is going to help. It makes their lineup longer. Their pitching is still good. I'm not going to quit the Braves just yet. I just don't think they're as good as the Phillies. So I do think it's Philly, New York, and then the Braves are going to have to fight with some other team, I think, in the National League West to make the playoffs.
Agree with everything you said there. All right. The Mets are the interesting team, right? They're doing the opposite of what I thought, Craig. All right. I thought they would hit, but pitching would be a struggle here. They're actually pitching and not hitting. All right. The Soto, boy, you want to look at a powder keg. The Soto situation in New York is getting up there. All right. There were reports that he doesn't fly with the team. That ended up being erroneous. He's unhappy. He's not running out base hits, right? He's taking his time there, and it's getting ugly here. There was something posted on X the other day about when he was moved to a third and length, he refused to swing. He just happened to take 3 strikes. You see that plenty of times throughout the season. But the Mets are, they're a powder cake right now, which is amazing. We're a team that's got off to a really good start here. But to go with you, I think Philadelphia wins the division. I think the Mets and Braves will battle for wild card spots.
All right, so let's take a look at the National League Central. I think this is a season. I know, George, you like the Reds going in. I don't know. This division does not look good to me. Cubs are winning. Cardinals are winning in spite of winning. I mean, I think the Cardinals are just kind of like, whoa, what are we doing? This is supposed to be a rebuild year. I saw there was an article, I think it was in The Athletic, that said that even if the Cardinals are in it, George, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to buy. What does that tell you? Milwaukee, this seems to be the first time Milwaukee's shown some warts in a while, although they are getting that great pitching from their young rookie. Reds seem like a 500 team, and then the Pirates are going nowhere. So, I'd love to throw a dart here on another team. I can't do it because I don't think the Cardinals' intentions are real. And for the first time, I'm seeing the Brewers, George, as going the other way. Last year at this time, we were talking about how surprising they were and how great they were. We're not doing that this year.
Yeah, I was never in on the Brewers this year. I just had too many losses here. But that being said, they're actually playing okay. They could get Woodruff back shortly. Maybe there's a chance there. Yelich, before he hit those 2 home runs, I want to say on Thursday, he looked awful. So we'll see how that goes as well. You mentioned I do have a ticket on the Reds. I just like the price. That's sort of like my Blue Jays of the National League. I keep going in on them year in, year out, and I'm always wrong. So sooner or later, I'll be right on that. But the Cubs look like a runaway winner here. And I do wonder this with St. Louis. I wonder if they could have a winning record at the deadline and still trade out. Right? They wanted to move Gray, but he turned it down. They wanted to move Fede. No, they couldn't get an offer for him. They wanted to move Arenado. He turned it down. Right? So I do wonder if they could still do that. And I think you're right. They won't make any additions anyway. So they probably should move these. If that's what you're going to do, then you probably should move these guys.
National League West is really, to me, the stacked division here because I really like all 3 teams here at the top. LA, San Diego, Arizona. Giants, I am expecting some pullback here eventually, and the Rockies are the worst team in the history of baseball. So 4 teams not realistic here, George. I'm going to say LA, San Diego, Arizona all get in the playoffs, but no one's beating the Dodgers for the division. I don't think.
I don't think so either, unless these injuries keep piling up here. But they always manage to throw guys out there. They only have a 2-game lead currently, so we'll see. But I'm with you about. I think the Dodgers win here. I'm a little disappointed in Arizona. They got out to a decent start, then they've been sputtering ever since. And we sort of need to see them hit the. Hit their stride here. But I'm interested in Arizona here. But I'm not betting against the Dodgers. That's just not. It's not a good way to make money.
And is this the pennant for the Phillies ever? I mean, it feels like this is. Like in the NBA facing Michael Jordan every year, and there's just going to be a second place team. I don't know how the Phillies beat the Dodgers, George. I don't see it.
Zach Wheeler, it's a pitching staff. If the Dodgers can still be, listen, I'm just throwing stuff out there, but Zach Wheeler, forget Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Luzardo. With those guys, Craig, and they'll make additions, right? They'll spend money at the deadline.
Yeah.
I could see it. I wouldn't mind taking a shot. Listen, I wouldn't expect to win, but I wouldn't mind taking a shot on the Phillies. I think they're the only team that really currently has a shot.
Yeah, and by the way, the World Series, anything can happen. It's just the NL, it's a little bit different. It just seems like that's the Dodgers to lose. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Buy or sell, Devers will be traded this season. Let's also not forget that there's $300 million on the table due to Devers, which eliminates him from, what would you say, like 17 teams?
Oh, I would think more than 17, maybe 27. That's a joke, but how many teams could afford him? All right, 5, 6. How many teams need a third baseman who can't play third base? How many people want to deal with his attitude? He hasn't come off looking good in any of this. Whether you believe he should have anyway, he doesn't look good at this. Will he be traded? No, he won't be traded. The salary alone makes it highly unlikely. He's a great hitter. All right, no doubt he can hit. But other than that, there's too many between the money and the attitude and no really position for him here. He's not getting dealt anytime soon.
Buy or sell, if the season ended today, Hunter Brown would win the American League Cy Young Award.
Hunter Brown has been fantastic. All right, the guy that Craig's teasing, by the way, is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers here, who's certainly right up there with them. Max Fried for the Yankees has had a fantastic season. They finally lost a start where he pitched it against Seattle the other day. They'd won every start. He's been fantastic. The season ended today with Hunter Brown winning the American Cy Young Award. I certainly couldn't argue it if he did. That being said, he's going up against Skubal, who won it last year, going up against Fried of the Yankees. My guess is that he'll need a year. You understand what I'm saying? He needs a year before he can get that kind of recognition if he's tied with somebody. If he's clearly ahead, then I think he would win here. But as of right now, would he win it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would be probably Max Fried.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on Sports Grid. Great to always have Gray Albright from Razzball in the house. Make sure you get yourself a subscription for the remainder of the fantasy baseball season and get in on the Streaminator and all the different lineup optimizers as we bring Gray in. Gray, happy Memorial Day to you. I know that this is, it feels like I'm going to see you on some social media post grilling outside with some burgers and some hot dogs, right? Like you're all about that. I have a feeling that's coming.
I got a pizza oven recently, and I didn't realize it goes up to like 800 degrees. So like it cooks everything in like 5 seconds. It's like so fast. I still am trying to figure it out. I'll let you know how it goes though.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I'm going to need a full review on Fantasy Sports today of Gray's new pizza oven. Didn't think that was coming here. All right, Gray. So this show in particular is kind of a look back at the first 2 months of the fantasy baseball season. And the player that George and I have seemingly talked about the most, so let's just keep that going, is the Cubs' Pete Crow Armstrong, who on Friday night hit 2 more home runs and seems to be on track for having the best fantasy baseball season of anybody ever. This season, excuse me. It is not ever. This season, he seems like to be the best. He reminds me a little bit of a right-handed Grady Sizemore back in the day, where this guy could just do no wrong. He was flying around. He was stealing bases, hitting home runs. So I would ask you, Gray, do you think that this is legit? Because if so, this was the best pick in all of fantasy baseball season.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't put the Grady Sizemore comp on him, though. Hopefully he stays healthier. I actually, in the first week of the season, randomly, this is, people are always interested in experts' fantasy teams. So I'll let you know a little inside info. In the first week of the season, someone reached out to me and they were like, hey, I'll trade you Pete Crow Armstrong for Trevor McGill, your closer from Brewers. I was like, no, I turned it down. So that shows you how smart I am. That was probably the worst move ever. Pete Crow Armstrong, he looks like a potential 30-30 guy. He always had the speed. The power is interesting though, because like if you look at his numbers, even going like through the minors, he would steal like 35 plus bags, 40 bags, and that was like in 100 games. He always was so fast, and if you ever saw him play, like he could hit a ball into the gap and leg out a triple so easily. So yeah, the guy is crazy fast. The power wasn't always there. I didn't think the power would be there this fast, but he's come around. I mean, I can't deny it. If you look at his numbers, he's making incredibly good contact. He's hitting 287 as we record this. I would be surprised if he hits lower than 255. And that's like, for him before the season, if you would have said that to me before the season, I'd be like, no way, he's a 230 hitter. So the fact that he's not going to hit lower than 255, and right now he's at 287, I mean, we're talking about a guy who has really changed his entire profile. So yeah, I think the breakout is real. I mean, if the speed, as long as he doesn't have any sort of like, nagging injuries like with the hamstrings or quads or anything with his legs, and the speed continues to be as well as it is, I would imagine at worst we're looking at, say, a 25 homer, 40 steal, 255, 265 season, which is easily top 15, top 20. And that's at worst. I'm saying at worst. Like at best, he could be a 35 guy. 40 isn't out of the realm of possibility. He really looks amazing. I should have traded for him. My bad.
Actually, I'm actually impressed you got a trade offer, right? Lord knows it's one of my rants. I can't get anybody to do any kind of trades in these leagues. It's driving me insane here. Everyone's afraid to deal. All right, Gray. I'll go on the little negative side here. How worried should we start to be about Juan Soto? Are we panicking yet here? The heat's starting to pick up in New York. They're starting to get on him, not running out balls here. He's back now. They moved him in the lineup here. Are you just holding pat with Juan Soto? How worried are you about Juan?
Yeah, I think I'm thinking I'm a little bit concerned because if you remember, he had a season similar to this before he was with the Yankees. He was with the Padres. It was a little bit of a down year. He hit 27 homers, hit 270. Hit 242 that year with the Padres. It wasn't a great year. So, we've seen it before. I guess is what I'm saying. So if he does it again, I mean, it shouldn't be that shocking, right? Yeah. And, he even said, I believe he said about the Aaron Judge not hitting behind him. So, that was bothering him, which is nuts because Pete Alonso is good. So I don't know. Maybe he's just a little bit uncomfortable there. The pressure of the 765 million contract maybe is weighing on him a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I have no real a huge insight as to him turning around. Like his numbers look relatively similar to previous years, but it's that, the grounders to second base that really, and I'm not just saying that because he doesn't hustle down the line, so he's not running hard when he hits a grounder to second. I'm talking about the ground balls just in general. His ground balls are now over 50%, which is really bad. But it's also, like I said, it's what we saw that one year with San Diego when he struggled. So it's a similar pattern to when he struggled previously, which is, it's pretty concerning for redraft leagues at least. I mean, I imagine he will come out of it. And if you have him in a dynasty league, I wouldn't sell low. But if you have him in a redraft league, if you could trade right now Juan Soto for Pete Crow Armstrong, that sounds incredibly crazy in the first week of the season. But now, as we move towards June, yeah, I mean, that doesn't really sound that nuts to me right now.
Gray, Ronald Acuna Jr. returned his first pitch. He hit a home run. He also got a hit. I mean, it's a really good sign. What do you make of, just generally speaking, we see this a lot of times, players who miss a long period of time, they come back, they do what they're doing. And you said you turned down a trade for Pete Crow Armstrong. Is this trade, it's very hard to envision having Acuna, holding him this long, and then trading him. But it may be the best thing to do, right? This is the moment. It feels like a hot baseball card. Guy comes up, does well.
Yeah, that's so true. You're saying that, and it's clicking in my head that I should probably trade Ronald Acuna Jr. I have him in certain leagues. You're right, because that is the feeling. You get him back, and it's after so long of holding him, you're like, oh my God, any homers on his first pitch he sees? I'm like, oh my God, it's I won the lottery. It's no, you didn't win the lottery. You drafted him in the second round. You barely have one. You have one game. What are you doing? Yeah, but you're right. I know it feels like you really kind of want to move him right now. I worry about his running, because I mean the knees they don't seem like they can hold up for him. Unfortunately, I mean I want him to be able to steal bases, and if he's just hitting homers, as good as that is, it's replaceable. So yeah, I don't know. I'm now you bummed me out.
No, I mean I'm positive on Acuna, but I don't know. It just seems like this is prime time to
I gotta
start
trade him.
canvassing.
I'm putting a trade right now. I'm trading him right now.
That's
I get rid of him. I'm trading him for Trevor.
Basically, Gray has taken Ronald Acuna Jr. and put him in the pizza oven. Perfect. All right. Well, Gray, thanks again. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Phil.
Buy or sell, Devers will be traded this season. Let's also not forget that there's $300 million on the table due to Devers, which eliminates him from, what would you say, 17 teams?
Oh, I would think more than 17, maybe 27. That's a joke. But how many teams could afford him? All right, 5, 6. How many teams needed a third baseman who can't play third base? You know, how many people want to deal with his attitude? He hasn't come off looking good in any of this. Whether you believe he should have anyway, he doesn't look good at this. Will he be traded? No, he won't be traded. The salary alone makes it highly unlikely. He's a great hitter. All right, no doubt he can hit. But other than that, there's too many between the money and the attitude and no really position for him here. He's not getting dealt anytime soon.
Buy or sell, if the season ended today, Hunter Brown would win the American League Cy Young Award.
Hunter Brown has been fantastic. All right, the guy that Craig's teasing, by the way, is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers here, who's certainly right up there with them. Max Fried for the Yankees has had a fantastic season. They finally lost a start where he pitched in against Seattle the other day. They'd won every start. He's been fantastic. The season ended today. Would Hunter Brown win the American Cy Young Award? I certainly couldn't argue it if he did. That being said, he's going up against Skubal, who won it last year, going up against Fried of the Yankees. My guess is that he'll need a year. You understand what I'm saying? He needs a year before he can get that kind of recognition if he's tied with somebody. If he's clearly ahead, then I think he would win here. But as of right now, would he win it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would be probably Max Fried.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. George, are you surprised that there have been this many firings by Memorial Day in Major League Baseball? I mean, usually by Memorial Day, what would you say if FanDuel was to set a number on manager firings by Memorial Day on a yearly basis, I think it probably would be at a half, right? Like if they set the number each year before the season would be 0.5. Well, if they set 2.5, it would have went over. We've seen changes in Pittsburgh, Colorado, and in Baltimore. So let's start off here with, first of all, there's something I would like to add here. And George, you said it earlier, so I'm partially in agreement, but I want to also play the other side of this too. Is that, yes, have the organizations failed their managers in all three of these spots? 100%. But I think all three teams, George, are underperforming even beyond that. So I kind of understand it. I'll start off with Pittsburgh and Derek Shelton, who I think, I've seen the Pirates play, George. I've seen them play in person. I did not think they were playing sound baseball. Defensively, base running. I was not. This was the least surprising one to me of all of them, just because I saw it firsthand. Now, yes, can they pitch a little bit? Sure. Did they not do enough in the offseason? Of course. But there was inexcusable mistakes made on the base paths, made with errors, sticking O'Neill Cruz in the outfield. I guess he's been a little bit better than he was earlier. So I like Derek Shelton. I think he's going to be potentially a manager again, more likely a base coach. But you simply can't be this bad. You can't be 10, 15 games under 500 when the expectations are 500. And I think that's what got him whacked.
Well, if the expectations were 500, then your expectations are way too high. Listen, I agree with what you said, by the way. They are a bad fundamental team, and that probably does fall more on the manager than anything else, right? You're not getting through to the players here to play the game right. But, when you have guys like Spencer Horwitz, Nick Gonzalez, Isaiah Falefa, Canario, what are we doing here? These are minor league players, all right, or best role players on a major league team here, but they're starting for you. We knew this going in, the offense was going to be pathetic, all right? And I love the pitching staff. Back when Jared Jones, before he has to have Tommy John surgery, unfortunately, I was playing it up. Oh, my God, they could have Skeens, they could have Jones, they could have Keller, they'll call up Bubba Chandler. Oh, my God, it'd be very tough for any team to match that four, but the offense was going to be a drag. So that's on. They didn't spend any money here. McCutchen, and I love Andrew McCutchen, but come on. He's your cleanup hitter here. You bring back Tommy Pham. What is going on here? So I think it's more on ownership there. But you're absolutely right about the fundamentals. That is on the manager. All the managers deserve some of the blame. I would just put a majority of the blame on the ownership for all three.
Fair enough. Now let's get to end of our program where we play a little game of buy or sell. Fun time for the Atlanta Braves. They get Ronald Acuna back, Spencer Strider. The lineup starts to look a little bit better and actually resembles what it did a year ago. And George, you think about managers. Remember early on in the season, we just talked about 3 managers being fired. They were calling for Brian Snitker to be fired. And George, it's probably fair to ask the question at the end of the season if the Braves underachieve, if this is his last year just coaching in baseball, he may retire. But if they make the playoffs, I think that's hard to do. Buy or sell, the Braves will make the postseason in 2025.
Now, I think the Phillies are going to win the division, so I'm going to knock that out. I don't think they'll be able to catch the Phillies. I think they're 10 games behind or something like that, so I don't think they're going to be able to catch them. Right now, they're 4.5 games out of the wild card here. Mets, Giants, Padres. Now, I think the Padres are in. Mets are going to be tough to I think they could get in. I think they'll make additions as well. St. Louis will fall out. Milwaukee, Cincinnati, probably not. Arizona's a problem. All right, so I think the Giants will fall out. So Arizona's an issue there. Can they get past them? I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna say no. Started off too slow here. Things have to go right. Strider doesn't look like himself yet. Acuna may or may not be fine. I'm gonna say sell. Just I kind of like the Diamondbacks. I like the Padres here. Maybe the Mets can hold them off here. Too much to overcome. I'll say sell, but I don't feel great about it.
Really, really good team. I'm going to still buy on the Braves, and ever a season where they're going to need to get some help. I think this is it. I'm buying. I say Atlanta gets in as a wild card. All right, let's get to managers in baseball. We've seen 3 fired. Buy or sell, there'll be another manager fired, George, before the All-Star break. Buy or sell?
Oh, I mean, listen, I'm not even thinking about it. I'll buy this. I'll just play the field. Someone's going to get fired. By the way, I agree with what you said before, by the way, but I'd have to look at the numbers before Memorial Day, but it wouldn't be 2.5. At best, it'd be 1.5, and you probably had the number right at 0.5. But I'll say someone gets fired. Something will happen. They'll be unhappy with somebody. The Athletics keep losing. Maybe he has to go here. Chicago could always change, even though it's not his fault either. Yeah, someone will have to go. But, Toronto, Schneider's always the person I'm worried. They're playing better of late, but he's the one that I'm surprised is still there.
That's the one, and that's why I'm going to buy. That's the one. I think, I think there's trouble in Toronto. There has been for a while. I think one more does happen this season. Aaron Judge will lead the major leagues in batting average this season. He does currently. Buy or sell?
He's not hitting 400. You and I already. And listen, I think he'll hit probably around 350. So that should be good enough. You always worry about Luis Arias, right? He's that guy who's always always high for the National League. I'm gonna buy this. He's got out to a hot start. That's probably not going to end here. So give me. I'm gonna go yes. I'll buy. Aaron Judge will lead the major leagues. I think he's gonna have a triple crown. Not gonna hit 65 home runs this year. He'll just get the triple crown instead.
I'll buy. We'll go against Sam. He says I said I was going to sell. You wanted me to sell. I'm not going to sell. He's so far ahead of everybody. I'm buying. Orioles will make some trades. Gunnar Henderson should be one of those. Buy or sell? Come on, this is sell. There's nothing even to talk about here, right?
No, they're not trading Gunnar Henderson. They might make some trades, but it's not Gunnar Henderson. But I think they should make some deals. So they need some pitching there, and they got plenty of young players to do it.
I'm a sell, but I'm a buy on 8 and 30 seconds left in the show. We'll do that next. Buy or sell, Devers will be traded this season. Let's also not forget that there's $300 million on the table due to Devers, which eliminates him from, what would you say, like 17 teams?
Oh, I would think more than 17, maybe 27. That's a joke. But how many teams could afford him? All right, 5, 6. How many teams need a third baseman who can't play third base? You know, how many people want to deal with his attitude? He hasn't come off looking good in any of this. Whether you believe he should have anyway, he doesn't look good at this. Will he be traded? No, he won't be traded. The salary alone makes it highly unlikely. He's a great hitter. All right, no doubt he can hit. But other than that, there's too many between the money and the attitude and no really position for him here. He's not getting dealt anytime soon.
Buy or sell, if the season ended today, Hunter Brown would win the American League Cy Young Award.
Hunter Brown has been fantastic. All right, the guy that Craig's teasing, by the way, is Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers here, who's certainly right up there with them. Max Fried for the Yankees has had a fantastic season. They finally lost a start where he pitched in against Seattle. They'd won every start. He's been fantastic. The season ended today with Hunter Brown winning the American Cy Young Award. I certainly couldn't argue it if he did. That being said, he's going up against Skubal, who won it last year, going up against Fried of the Yankees. My guess is he'll need a year. You understand what I'm saying? He needs another a year before he can get that kind of recognition if he's tied with somebody. If he's clearly ahead, then I think he would win here. But as of right now, would he win it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would be probably Max Fried.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz. Thanks for sticking with us throughout the Memorial Day weekend here on SportsGrid. George and I, of course, will be back next Saturday here on the show. And George, it's a special time for, of course, honoring everybody in the military across the country here in the United States. Not just a day off for a lot of people, but also honoring that as well. But it is sort of a rite of passage to sit back, uncork your favorite drink, and hit the barbecue and make some food up here. You said you bought steaks, is that right? Some steaks, some burgers already? You're already set? You do seem like the kind of person that has this prepared for weeks.
I am a very organized person, sure. I don't want to be going out to the stores this weekend. I don't. So, yeah, my wife and I got some steaks here, burgers. I'm a burger guy, by the way. I'll always have a burger. Don't mind a hot dog. On a grill every now and then, fine. But burgers, I love a good steak. Yeah, chicken, of course, is good as well. I'm really anything. You're going to put it on a grill, I'm going to eat it. Okay, no problem here. But I wish the weather was going to be nice here. I would like to watch the games outside as well. That might be a little iffy here. Maybe at night you put get a fire pit going here. We watch the game that way here. But looking forward to it. Well, it's sad that it's late May and I still have to worry about a fire pit if I want to watch a game outside at night. That just drives me insane here. We have not got the warm weather yet. What are your plans, Greg?
Well, we have a fire pit. It's called Walking Outside right now. I mean, it's like 90.
Just rubbing it in.
Yeah,
it was 55 last night.
My son has travel baseball games all Memorial Day weekend. I am the biggest sucker out there to sign up for this stuff, but that's part of it. And then Monday, whenever you folks are watching this, that's kind of my day. I think that'll be my day to sit back and relax before got to get back at it Tuesday, and then I return to SportsGrid to host Newswire as well. All right, so let's wrap up the show with 60 seconds of commentary from George, and then from me. It is the SportsGrid 60.
Watching game one of the doubleheader Friday between Boston and Baltimore, it's 11-3 in the eighth inning, and of course we get the position player pitching. Which listen, I get it. It's a doubleheader. The game's over. You're down by 8. Although 8 runs in Fenway is not impossible here, and I understand you want to save your bullpen. I get that, Craig. I don't understand why the position player can only lob the ball. I mean, literally, you and I can throw harder. All right. I'm not saying get up there and whip it as hard as you can here, but why can't you throw? Why can't you? Just lob the ball. And they would score 19,000 runs here. Hey, if you're betting on the game, you wanted the over, great. But generally, I just don't. It just bothers me to no end here why they just have to lob the ball. They never used to do that. They used to throw the ball normal. They said, I'm not saying fire the ball as hard as you can. I understand. Well, we want to make sure these players don't get hurt. Well, they throw the ball over time. Are you showing me they can't throw from 60 feet, 6 inches to the catcher? So it just it's extremely annoying to me that they keep doing this over and over again, that they can't throw like a normal player would. They're not even throwing batting practice. They're throwing slower than batting practice up there. Yeah. So it's just one of the things that's a pet peeve of mine that's driving me insane.
So really funny thing, and I think that I feel like I'm a little bit of a loser for doing this because I've always preached that the summer is meant for baseball. I mean, here I am doing the pregame show on FanDuel Sports Network for the Marlins, and believe me, I love it. For our shows here on SportsGrid, we have the NBA Finals going on, we have the Stanley Cup, and some baseball as well. But I keep going to the NFL's Twitter handle, their X handle, because they keep posting how close we are to the football season coming, and I keep checking to see when we get to 50%, meaning that we are halfway through the offseason and the regular season beginning. Right now, it currently stands at 48. I've checked it like twice this week. Why? Because here at SportsGrid, it's like football drives the bus so much so that I sort of can't wait for it to start. Now, don't get me wrong. I love baseball, and it is my primary sport. But from a content standpoint, once you get into July, it gets real. And I think we're getting closer and closer. So I can't wait till we get to that 50% mark. I got to say, I'm a sucker. George, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Certainly you and your family, I hope you do well and enjoy your barbecues and everything. And I'll see you back here next week.
Sounds good. Oh, same thing to you. Even Sam, you can have a good Memorial Day weekend as well.
Oh, Sam. He'll be working this weekend. All right, that'll do it for us. For Sam and George, I'm Craig. Salute to all of you celebrating Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you back here next week.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
I'm not saying this thing is scripted, but damn it, they put those two teams on the first weekend of the basketball season for a reason, because they were expecting some kind of fireworks. They got it. Did Angel Reese overreact? Probably. Did Caitlin Clark have to stare it down? Probably not. There's enough blame to go both sides. But guess who doesn't care? That's the WNBA.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The Tigers, 31-17, Matt, on the season. They've got the best pitching in baseball, but don't look now. The Twins are now on their heels at 26-21.
The best hitters can't stay healthy. We obviously saw a situation last week where two of those guys got hurt on the same play. So that's the Twins, and I think Twins fans, I'm up in Twins country. Twins fans know that up here, and you're kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on Sports.